What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back. And from the New York Post, NYPD re-ups contract with Hollywood ad agency amid recruitment woes. So it wasn't that long ago, we had the story of how the department was hemorrhaging officers. They were fleeing to places like Florida for lower taxes and a better quality of life. There was another story of how they lowered the standards to become an officer, which of course will allow regular New Yorkers and activists alike to say, well, these cops are trash because you're now scraping the bottom of the barrel and the cycle will undoubtedly continue. And here we are, they are continuing to work with a Hollywood ad agency to get people to join the force after 3 years minimum of nonstop villainization. It's all absolute insanity. But they say the NYPD has quietly renewed a multi-million-dollar contract with a Hollywood ad agency in an effort to attract new cops, as the department struggles to increase recruitment levels while facing a mass exodus of officers. Well, you get what you asked for. This is exactly what you wanted. Back in the summer of love 2020, Bill de Blasio, Warren Wilhelm, literally capitulated, bent the knee to the activists. Well, he is basically one of the activists by cutting the NYPD budget by $1 billion. And I'm sure they were overspending. It's all an absolute scam. But just taking away money from the NYPD because of something that happened in Minneapolis just doesn't make sense. What did you think was going to happen? The Los Angeles-based firm Walton Isaacson, LLC, was awarded a $5 million 2-year deal in November to continue advising on police recruitment and media strategies, according to contracts. Well, I also have an inkling that that's not really going to work. You're going to pay some Hollywood firm to get New York. I guess so. I don't have a better idea, but it kind of seems like a scam in itself. Oh, we're going to give $5 million to a Hollywood ad agency to get New York City police officers to sign. It doesn't really make sense, but they're all in cahoots together. As we know, California and New York walk in lockstep on almost everything. It continues. It came after the agency, which also has offices in the Big Apple, okay, fair enough, reaped a $54 million 5-year contract with the city in 2018 to help stir up NYPD recruitment. So $54 million back in 2018 to get more cops on the force, and it doesn't seem like it worked at all. If anything, you undercut yourself by villainizing the cops. So you pay this company $5 million, and then on the other side of that coin, you say, oh, these people are all evil racists, and we have to get rid of them. Then why did you should have ended, you should not have renewed that deal after 3 years of telling everybody that the cops are absolutely awful. And look, nobody's perfect. I'm not sitting here, going to bat for the cops. In fact, the NYPD is probably one of the most corrupt forces in the country, right? They were basically de Blasio's henchmen. Then they turn into Eric Adams' henchmen, and they do whatever these corrupt politicians tell them to do. But look, it's all an absolute mess, right? I do not have the answer, but I don't think paying a Hollywood ad agency is really going to fix your problem. It just seems like a little bit of money laundering or something, right? These are all sort of backdoor deals as far as I can tell. The NYPD could spend $1 billion on recruiting ads. It would make no difference as long as the pay and benefits remain inferior to every other policing job in this area, said Police Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch. Okay, well, he's talking some sense, right? They're not going to pay them to put their life on the line and be villainized. Then it doesn't matter how much money you spend on ads. It makes no sense, but it's par for the course in the backwards, bizarre world. The city should stop wasting its money on recruiting ads and instead invest in a more effective recruiting tool, competitive compensation. Yeah, makes sense. But they're not going to do anything that makes sense because A, they don't really want to fix the problem. They love the demise. They're profiting from it. And B, making sense is a no-no in these weirdo establishment cities, right? As soon as you say something that makes sense, then you're kind of brushed aside, if not completely censored and demonized, right? As soon as you start saying something that makes sense logically, then, you have guys out in California who are saying we need to put the criminals back in the community. That makes us safer. They just say the most off-the-wall things and expect you to buy it. So when you say something that actually makes sense, they don't want to hear that, because it might get through to some people and they might start seeing the truth. And we can't have that. So we're just going to say the most outlandish things and keep selling them nonsense. Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell has publicly acknowledged that recruitment has posed a significant issue and said the NYPD is getting creative with how to entice prospective applicants, including putting calls out at military bases and colleges. Well, why are you getting creative? You shouldn't need to get that creative. What you need to do is spend the money on them rather than giving it to an ad agency. It's really not that hard. You don't have to get creative. And you can also maybe stop letting criminals run the entire city, letting them out on bail. It becomes a revolving door, like they say. We put out a number of different videos. We have people who are responding to a number of locations, basically really getting the word out since the pandemic that we're open for business. Yeah, okay. Just some videos. Do some YouTube videos, and that'll really entice people. Bro, everybody knows. It's like everybody in San Francisco, everybody knows that you can't leave a penny in your cup holder. You can't leave an iPhone charger. The word is out, right? Everybody knows that you guys are treating these officers like crap. And again, nobody's perfect. I'm not really going to bat for the officers. Well, I guess I kind of am. But you guys are treating them like you're treating the criminals far better than you're treating the cops. That's the bottom line. And it's completely backwards. And again, the officers, at least back when I lived there, were total henchmen for the de Blasio regime. And I can't imagine they've changed very much. So they are not perfect, but they are also not the villains here, right? It's the political establishment, in my humble opinion, obviously. The top cop, and let's be clear here. This woman, she checks all the boxes, right? Do we really think she's going to be able to get the job done? I'm not one to, actually, I am one to judge a book by its cover. But her and Eric Adams were basically, we were told over and over and over again that everything is racist. So these two black people get these top jobs and everything, swirls down the toilet. I'm not saying a white person could do it better. I don't know who could do it better, but these people are the actual villains while they're pretending that the regular NYPD officers are villains and still trying to get more people to join the force. It's all absolute mental gymnastics. But like I always say, every single one of their talking points, every single one of their agendas will undoubtedly, without fail, like clockwork, every single time conflict with another one of their talking points or another one of their agendas when followed to its logical conclusion. So they're pretending, we just need to get creative. Why? Just pay them more. Everybody has just warned the idea that these officers are completely evil. And look, some of the officers need to do better and maybe stand up to the corrupt regime, but that's not going to happen. Anyhow, the top cop, however, made no mention of Walton Isaacson, which was first tapped by the city 5 years ago to create a marketing campaign that would effectively identify and recruit the highest quality and most diverse candidates. And here we go. They're still talking about this diversity. So you don't like the cops, but you want more diverse cops, but then you're going to villainize them and pretend that they're not quote unquote diverse because they are cops. It's all absolute circular logic, mental gymnastics. These people twist themselves up into a pretzel because none of it makes any sense. And they're paying this agency $5 million. $5 million for 2 years, and somehow they had $54 million for 5 years. It's a mess. Over the past 5 years, the NYPD also spent nearly $12 million on advertising. It's not rocket science, lady. You don't have to get creative. You don't have to pay an agency $12 million. You could literally just pay the officers better. And maybe they won't be completely corrupt, right? And maybe they won't, scam and like the MTA guys do too. And I realize that's, apples to oranges, but it's all like, corrupt city stuff. These people are morons. And while they're talking about getting more officers, they're still harping on diversity. Right now, you need to take who you can get, all right? Doesn't matter what color. You're talking, we need more diverse. What are you talking about? Nobody wants to work there, and you're talking about the color of the people that will accept the job. Give me a break. Absolute nonsense. And here we have it. The NYPD has nearly 10,500 Hispanic officers compared to just under 10,000 5 years ago, making up more than 31% of the force, and the city is 29% Hispanic. So they're breaking down the racial makeup of the force for no reason, especially when you consider that nobody wants to work there and you're paying an agency millions of dollars to bring in people rather than just giving that money to the officers. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take a lawyer. It doesn't take a police officer. It doesn't take a politician to realize that you're doing it all backwards. But that, of course, is because they don't want to fix the problem. They want to continue the demise because somehow, some way, they are profiting off of it. I can almost guarantee. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.